Welcome to the Explainer. Let's just jump right in, shall we? How many times have you sat down, put in grueling hours of study, only to feel like your brain is basically a leaky bucket? Seriously, we are going to fix that today. We're diving into a super actionable 5-part memory toolkit from our source material that's specifically designed to take you from endlessly, frustratingly repeating things to effortless retention.
I mean, we've all been there, right? It's the absolute worst. You read a page maybe 3 or 4 times, you highlight half of it, you review it, and then you close the book, and poof, it's completely gone. And you sit there thinking, okay, is my memory just fundamentally broken? But honestly, it's not a flaw in your intelligence at all. It's just a flaw in the technique. Without the right memory strategies, your brain is just tossing that information out like it doesn't even matter. Have you ever seen the movie Teddy? The main character has this insane superpower. He can pick up a massive medical textbook or a guide to a completely foreign language, flip through it on a quick 20-minute bus ride, and just remember every single word, like zero effort. Imagine having that kind of retention. Now, obviously that's a movie, but the core principle behind it isn't actually magic. It's exactly what happens when you combine absolute unbroken focus with the right cognitive frameworks. So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to hit 5 specific techniques: mastering focus, strategic daily revision, building a memory palace, imagination hooks, and finally, physical brain activation. And stick around because those last 2 are unbelievably practical and literally guarantee results. All right, let's kick things off with technique number 1, master your focus. Look, memory failure is usually just a symptom of scattered attention. Think about it. When your textbook is open right in front of you, is your mind actually there? Or are you reading about, say, political science, but secretly stressing out about some weird conversation you had last week? If you aren't 100% present, you can't expect your brain to lock that memory in. What we call wrong focus is sitting there consumed by anxiety, thinking, oh man, there are 500,000 applicants for only 500 seats. How do I even stand a chance? That mindset totally drains your cognitive battery. Right focus, on the other hand, is just blocking out that noise. It's taking total agency and asking yourself, what does this exam actually need from me today? How do I get better at my multiple choice skills? You have to focus entirely on the skills right in front of you, not the invisible army of competitors.
Okay, so how do we actually train this focus in real life? Well, here are 3 quick daily hacks. First up is meditation. But hold on, not the way you're probably thinking. Don't try to just force your brain to go totally blank. Let those annoying, intrusive thoughts flow in, acknowledge them, and deal with them until your mind naturally settles down and feels fresh. Second trick, try listening to some soothing, low-beat background music while you study. It basically occupies the restless, distracted part of your brain, so your main focus can lock right onto the textbook. And third, practice chunking phone numbers. Instead of relying completely on your phone's contact list for everything, try to memorize a few important numbers by breaking them into smaller little chunks. It's honestly a fantastic daily workout to boost your working memory.
Moving right along to technique number 2, strategic daily revision. Let's look at the actual mathematical logic behind this, because it's pretty wild. A lot of people read something once and just cross their fingers, or they wait a whole month to review what they learned. That is a guaranteed recipe for forgetting. Think of it this way. Let's say you crush a heavy 4-hour study session today. Tonight, right before bed, you revise it. That's going to take you about 30 minutes. Tomorrow, day 2, you revise that exact same material again. But because your brain literally just saw it yesterday, it's only going to take 15 minutes. And by day 5, you will be able to skim and perfectly recall that entire original 4-hour block of study in just 2 minutes. I mean, the time decay is just drastic. Repetition doesn't mean rereading the whole textbook. It just means proving to your brain that those neural pathways are still active, until pulling up the information becomes practically effortless.
Which brings us to technique number 3, the memory palace. Have you ever walked outside in the morning, heard some random catchy song playing for a second, and then found yourself humming it the entire rest of the day? You didn't sit there trying to memorize the lyrics, right? Your brain just absorbed it passively. Your environment has a massive impact on your passive memory. And the cool thing is, we can engineer this exact same passive absorption for your studies. You basically turn your room into a giant visual anchor. Grab some A4 sheets, use some really bright, colorful pens, and write out your toughest facts, formulas, or historical dates. Then, stick them everywhere. Put them on your doors, your walls, and yeah, literally stick them on the ceiling right above your bed. As you're falling asleep or waking up, your eyes will naturally scan over them. So later, when you're sitting in the actual exam hall, you won't just remember the fact, you will vividly visualize that bright green text on the poster right next to your door.
Up next is technique number 4, imagination and hooks.
One of the absolute biggest mistakes we make, is trying to memorize dry, abstract textbook facts like they're just computer data. Human brains hate raw data. We like stories. We like tying things to what we already know. So let's say you're trying to learn the geography of a specific region or all the tiny details of a historical event like the 1857 revolt. Grab a scrap piece of paper. Step 1. Draw a little rough road. Step 2. Draw a literal road sign and write the location on it. Step 3. Mentally visualize the event happening right there on the paper. If it's geography, picture the rain actually falling on the coast. Imagine the physical effort of walking up the mountains and then looking out over the plateau. You have to turn it into a tangible mental movie, a literal road trip. When you visualize it like that, it sticks.
And that leads perfectly into the whole concept of hooks. Your brain loves to drop unknown facts, but it practically superglues known facts to your memory forever. So the trick is to hook the unknown stuff right onto the known stuff. Think about a doctor giving you a prescription. If they tell you, hey, take this 3 times a day, you'll probably forget. But if they say, take this right after you eat your meals, you'll never forget it, because eating lunch is a permanent daily habit. You can do the exact same thing with your studies. If you have to memorize a random list of dates in October, hook them to your own October birthday. Just connect the dry, unfamiliar material directly to your very familiar everyday life.
And finally, we arrive at technique number 5. Physical brain activation. This one is a purely physical hack based on acupressure, and you can literally do it anywhere, anytime, to immediately send a wake-up call to your brain and spike your concentration. I actually want you to try this right now while you're listening to this explainer. Go ahead. Step 1, bring the fingertips of both of your hands together. Step 2, apply a little bit of light pressure. Just kind of squeeze them together. Step 3, release and repeat. So why does this simple little movement actually work? Well, think about what happens when you accidentally touch a hot pot on the stove. Your hand yanks back instantly, right? The nerve endings in your fingertips are so incredibly sensitive that they send rapid-fire, high-priority signals straight to your brain. Doing this gentle acupressure trick physically jolts your nervous system. It pulls your brain out of that sleepy slump and snaps your focus right back to the present moment.
So, we've walked through mastering focus, strategic daily revision, building your own memory palace, using imagination hooks, and that awesome physical brain activation trick. But look, knowledge is just potential power until you actually put it to work. Don't just let this be another explainer that you consumed and immediately forgot. I want to challenge you right now. Which of these 5 techniques are you going to implement in your very next study session to finally take absolute control of your memory for those 2025 exam goals? Give it some thought. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer today, and I'll catch you in the next one.